So Donald Trump is desperately trying to make this Epstein stuff go away, and as he tries, he digs back into his old bag of tricks, which is just blame it on the Democrats and say that it's a hoax. But that's really hard to do when you've been the one pushing it this entire time, and pushing it under the narrative of the Democrats were the one hiding something. None of this is making sense, folks, and Trump can't make it make sense. The more that he tries, the worse that it gets, because, okay, if there was a list, it was on Pam Bondi's desk, and they were going to be releasing it soon. They were going to be transparent with the American people. And then there was no list. Nothing to see here, folks. Just move on. Just look away. Then why would they have a vote to release files that there was nothing in? Why would Republicans vote to block something from coming out that didn't exist? And now we're going to play a clip of Trump as he tries to make this go away, and as he tries to blame this on the Democrats. If you listen closely, he really ends up incriminating his own self in this one, and I'm going to love to see his loyal ones like Charlie Kirk, who has stopped talking about it. Is Charlie going to stay quiet on this one? Or is he going to go to bat when he gets his marching orders and try to figure out how to spin this back to the base? Because this one right here, folks, is really a sticky situation for Trump. So I'm going to bring this one up and we're going to watch it together. And again, thank y'all so much for your support here on the channel. If you haven't already, be sure and hit that subscribe button and help us get to 1 million subscribers. So here we go. Let me bring it up this way. There we go. Yeah, listen along. Let's just listen along to this. As Trump is asked about Epstein, and listen to how bad he steps in it.
What do you think, what are the things that are most important that you would like to see the FBI get to the bottom of?
I think they could look at all of it. It's all the same scam. They could look at this Jeffrey Epstein hoax also, because that's the same stuff. That's all put out by Democrats.
Yeah.
And, some of the naive Republicans fall right into line like they always do. They just don't have the sustainability. They don't have they don't have that stick to it like glue. The Democrats, they have bad policy, they have bad candidates, they have bad everything, but they stick together. The Republicans don't do that. But they ought to look into the Jeffrey Epstein hoax too, because that's another hoax that's frankly put out by the pushing the Republicans and put out by the Democrats.
There is nobody out there in MAGA land that believes that. The biggest troll who hates Tennessee Brando's guts, hates the Midas Touch Network, and hates every one of the contributors on our side of the aisle, there is none of them that believes that for 1 second. So for the first time in a long time, here we are in agreement that that's bullshit. The Democrats didn't cook this up. If they did, if they cooked it up and they had evidence against Trump, it would have already came out. They would have used it, right? That's what they say. So he keeps going here, and in this next section is where he really kind of buries himself without realizing it. And it's for all the ones that says, well, now when Trump's playing chess while the rest is playing checkers, boy, this next move is a stupid, stupid chess move.
No, they definitely set the Republicans up. One big prosecutor look at it all. Would that make you feel good, you think?
Well, I think it's in the case of Epstein, they've already looked at it, and they are looking at it, and I think all they have to do is put out anything credible. But, that was run by the Biden administration for 4 years. I can imagine what they put into files, just like they did with the others. I mean, the Steele dossier was a total fake.
Right.
It took 2 years to figure that out for the people. And all of the things that you mentioned were fake. Yeah. So I would imagine if they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration, they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me, but especially you look at that Steele dossier where they paid like 14 or 16 million.
Did you hear that, folks? All that stuff we found, it was fake with me. So I'm in there. I'm in there. I'm right there, but it's fake when it comes to me. Now, everybody else mentioned they're guilty of sin, but not me. It's all fake when it comes to me. And it makes me go back and flash back to the moment where he said, when Fox edited the interview, where he said, well, I don't know about the Epstein stuff. I would have to take a look at that because there's a lot of fake stuff in there. Wouldn't the criminal, the convicted felon, the man found liable of sexual abuse, the man that defamed the victim, wouldn't that guy tell you automatically that everything in there was fake with him? What he's doing right here, folks, is he's laying the groundwork for the Charlie Kirks of the world to go back on their podcast and spin this, that while Joe Biden had a hold of everything, Joe Biden put a bunch of fake stuff in there. So Joe Biden put that stuff in there and then didn't put it out. He went to all that trouble to put it in there, but then just sat on it. They just sat on it. I mean, one of the most important election of our lifetime was Kamala versus Trump. That was it. And they didn't use it. They just let it all go. None of it makes sense. But the stuff was fake when it comes to me, he says. And we're supposed to believe that it's all fake when it comes to him after all of the pictures and all of the evidence. I saw a meme crack me up. It said that Trump has more pictures with Jeffrey Epstein than I do my grandmother. And I got to thinking about that. It's true. I really got to thinking about the pictures that I have with both of my grandmothers. And folks, seriously, I don't have a whole lot. Because grandma's always around. She's at every function. You just don't necessarily, and that was back in the day before people took selfies every few minutes. I mean, I'm sure my kids today have more pictures with my mom than I did with my grandmother's because we didn't always have the camera out and ready to go. But yeah, I mean, out of all that, we're supposed to believe that after all of that, we're supposed to believe that, yeah, that was fake when it comes to him. But let's keep rolling as he just continues to bury himself deeper.
That's more than James Patterson gets paid to do a #1 bestseller.
Isn't that crazy?
And the thing turned out to be a total scam. So frankly, I think I love that they're looking at all this stuff. If they are, I hope they are.
Yeah, we've definitely confirmed it. They definitely are.
Mr. President, this is something that could give the American people answers on 3 different elections, 2016, 2020, and 2024. But to get that rolling, there are 2 sets of documents that are key to identifying possible conspiracy. But a grand jury can't see them unless you declassify them. Would you declassify the classified annex in the Hillary Clinton email case, as Senator Grassley has been asking?
Well, I would do that. I would do that, absolutely. I think it should be looked at. The whole thing was a scam.
Yeah.
And I would do that gladly.
Great. And there's one other one I want to mention. In the Durham report, they talk about the Clinton plan intelligence, the intercept where Hillary Clinton approves hanging that Russian shingle on your campaign house. That's another one that hasn't yet been declassified. Was that another one you'd consider declassifying?
I would declassify it. Yeah, why not? I would absolutely declassify it. And I will say this, the Durham report was preceded by the Horowitz report.
That's
and
right.
Bill Barr should have used the Horowitz reports. You didn't need the Durham report because
That's right.
Say what you want about Mr. Horowitz, though. He was appointed by Democrats, but he wrote the most vicious and true report that you've ever seen on somebody, and that was on James Comey.
Yep.
And I believe, a couple of the people in the FBI that were crooked. But this report was so big, and then go back and check, even the New York Times wrote a violent editorial about.
I'll go ahead and stop it right there, folks. We don't have to sit and listen to his mouth any longer. But what he's essentially doing right there is he's baiting and switching. He's moving the hoop and the mental gymnastics, and he expects MAGA to just absolutely run right through it. And some of them still are. He has some diehards that are still holding strong. But even some of his most staunch supporters just cannot get behind this because they all know that it was him. And now he's went and fired Maureen Comey, who was the prosecutor in the Epstein case. How does that look? I mean, there's people that could say there was different reasons for that. But how does it look right now? And, I really hate doing the whole whataboutisms. I try sometimes to steer clear of that, but it's almost impossible to not do a whataboutism in this case because, folks, I just want to know, what do you think would have happened if Kamala Harris had have got elected and everything with the Epstein case that we've seen had have went the same exact way? Just imagine if she got in there and promised when she got in there she would release the files. And then let's say that, one of her biggest campaign donors, one of her biggest backers were to come out and say, well, the reason why she won't release them is because she's in there and because Bill Clinton's in there. Do you think that they would have just stopped talking about it the way they did and shifted to California or shifted to Iran? No, they would have absolutely lost their minds. It would have been January 6th on steroids. And then if her DOJ had came out and said, yeah, we have it, it's on our desk, we're going to be looking at it, we're going to be releasing it soon, and then came out and said, hey, no, everybody, there's no list. There never was. There's nothing to see there. Very boring stuff in there. It's all just a big Republican hoax. Do you think for 1 second they would have bought it? The answer is hell no, they wouldn't have. And they're not buying this one either because they're the ones. This is the thing that they ran on. And I know I get repetitive in these videos making this point, but folks, this is the moment that they all were waiting for. They were waiting for Trump to expose the deep state so that they could be right about everything else. They thought that it would make them right about all the other issues if they could just be right on this one thing, and they're not getting that moment, and that's why they're getting upset. And the more Trump tries to spin out of this, the worse he's making it. So there's no list, and there's nothing to see there. There's a lot of boring stuff there. He wants the FBI to open it up, though, and take a look at all the fake stuff that was put in there about him. He's planting the seeds to come out and say, here's all the fake stuff with me, and then here's all the real stuff with the Democrats. And the sad part is, folks, what MAGA truly wants, what the hardcores want that are upset with him right now, they wanted that moment where they saw the Democrats fall. And if he finds a way to give them that moment, even if his name is in there with some of the most heinous crimes against children ever, they will still find a way to go, well, at least he got the Democrats for us. Because that's the finish they wanted. That's the ending they were waiting for. And it's truly disgusting to me. It's disgusting to me that this didn't bring him down years ago. It's disgusting to me that he's even back for a 2.0. But if he makes it through this, and this doesn't stick, and this isn't what brings him down, then I don't know if we'll ever see a Washington, D.C. without him, to tell you the truth. This is the moment. And if the true MAGA members who are disappointed are truly disappointed, they'll hold his feet to the fire. They'll hold other Republicans to the fire in the midterms. But yeah, there he is. They took out the fake stuff. Let's have a look at the fake stuff that was in there about me. It's always fake when it comes to, and that's the thing. All the other stuff that he's sitting there saying that's scams, it's fake. That's just his MO. That's just what he always does. Everything's fake. Everything's a scam. But folks, we've seen it for what it is from the moment he came down that escalator. And so we're just going to have to now buckle up and see how this plays out. And every time I sit down and do a video on this subject, the minute I log off, I see Aaron Parnas go, we got breaking news. Something else has just happened. So I'll let you know what happens next and get right back to you on that.